All right, so Marty's gonna grab her bat. The first thing I wanna kind of go over with you guys is the three major ABCs of slapping are footwork, timing, and bat angles. All right, so what I mean by the footwork, Marty trade places with me. What I mean by the footwork is that our footwork has to be on time, but it has to be consistent through the zone, okay? And what I'm seeing a lot of with other slappers is that their footwork is kind of just not even really consistent. And I think some of you girls that are on the online now with me can understand that, because that's what we talk about all the time. But our footwork, and here's the thing about footwork. These two cones right here identify the slide step. Now, some slappers don't use a slide step. Some, as they move on into perfecting their skill, like Ahmari doesn't use much of a slide step, because she feels like when she slides, she falls over. She's coming too far over the top when she steps through. So what Ahmari does is she does a sudden little timing movement, and then she steps through. Grab your bat so it's easier to do. So that's the thing that I want to identify for slappers is your footwork here. When you're a beginner slapper, we start everybody on a slide step, because if you don't, our slappers tend to move through and go arms to the ball first, and then they close the club on the 3-4 hole, and they get frustrated with it because the second baseman throws them out. All right, so that's the first two cones set up down here. This last cone here is going to be our landing area. All right, when we land, all right, we're there and our barrel's here, and we're ready to push off, back hip through, and get to extension and freeze. Good, right there. So she's able to go one cone back, one cone back. She's able to go to one. She's able to place that ball in the 2-hole, 2. So there, she's in a great position from the box, and everything she's touching is fair, okay? Rewind back. All right, so now, the landing, the slide step footwork is 1-2 cone, and then the front side right here is our landing. You notice how we tighten up the box a little bit on the back side right here, because I like the slappers to work in a smaller space so that we don't have to worry about what our footwork and being called out of the box, okay? So now, the next thing is, let's talk about our bat angles, all right? So Marty's going to step in again, land. And what we're working on now is bat angles. So we put two cones on the floor, and we identify this as a 5-6-1 and a 5-6-2. So Marty's going to go to 5-6-1. That's the 5-6 hole, because the shortstop's either playing straight up or over, all right? And the third baseman's already crashed, or she's playing what we call mid. She's mid-range, sitting back and ready to cover. So she's going to blow that through the 5-6 hole. When the shortstop slides over, that's when we go 5-6-2. All right, so we're going to hit it somewhere between the 1 and the 2 area right here. So go to 2. So that's a middle ball, and then slightly back from that, and that's going to be the second base, the shortstop side of second base. All right, we work on those three angles, those three location slaps every week, because that's where we live about 90% of the time. All right, so we're going to rewind back. So now, let's talk about the last two cones on the front side right there. The last two cones on the front side just give us a general area of where we're making contact and where we're beginning to turn our bodies to run up the first base line. Because what we see a lot of is our slappers are wasting about 3 steps to the pitcher and then trying to cut back. Let's take that out of there by just creating a cone system that creates muscle memory so you never think about it. So Ahmari's going to go through and make contact. I'll take your bat at contact. Go. Go, continue to flow, and then she'll let go. And then she'll flow out and go to first on that angle right there, okay? So that's what we're working on there. And then the last read, which you guys probably can't see because we're further back, is the 1 and 3 line. The first base line and the third base line is identified. So then that gives us, the slappers, that angle. Because the first time we run through a ball, we're gonna put the ball down on a drag. And we ran through the first one, and we saw the third baseman slide when she broke to you, and then she slid to the middle of the field. We're going to drop that ball on her throwing side and mess her up, okay? Anybody got any questions from there yet? Everybody's quiet.
Yeah, hey Jim.
Yep.
Yeah, I just have a question too about like when you're going on when she's crossing over.
Yeah.
And that third cone right there.
Yeah.
Is that simulating like the front corner of the box?
Yeah, that's front corner of the box based on
Okay.
based on the mat. Yep.
Okay, and then is she like when Megan's doing it, sometimes she feels like she's jammed because she's getting that big crossover. Remember how we were seeing that the other day?
Yeah, but she's just got to get consistent with that, Greg. I mean, you know, it was one time we were short, and then the other times we were longer. Remember that?
Okay.
All right.
I just wondered.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I just wondered, like, I just wanted to see if there's anything else that we can like work on with like the hands or you know, to create like a little bit more, so you're not feeling jammed or something, you know what I mean?
Well, the space of it, you know, and then we were talked about a little bit in our session last week is our hand placement, you know, the loading of our hands instead of staying neutral and feeling blocked up too. A lot of that's timing as well.
Okay.
So now we're going to go into, go ahead.
Oh, no, I just said I'll take a look at that when we do it tomorrow.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, so now the next thing we're going to work on is we're going to kind of go over a couple of drills that we work on. So in order for us to happen with this today, we're going to use a pad because we've got video equipment out in front of us. So what we're going to do is I'm going to drop this a boxing or a punching bag we use a lot when we're just working on contact and angles. So what I'll do is I'll put this on the one area, and then Ahmari's going to slide step and go to the top X up here, and she's going to freeze at contact. Go through. Good. So look at her body. Her body position is firm, and she's not leaning or falling over. She's firm in her legs, and her left hip right here is going to really push into that area. So go back, rewind, stay there, and then left hip push. Go. Good. See how her right foot comes out, and she's already made contact. The bat loop's going to go through. So take it to the front. Bat loop goes through. And then right hand descents. Good. And then she's coming out of the box with her left hand. You notice as she comes through, her left hand comes off and she reaches up and starts pushing down the line, okay? So go back. So now we're going to go into a landing again. And land. Good, good. See how her body is in a good position. Her head is down through contact. And she's ready to make square contact through the ball. Go back, rewind. So now, rewind back all the way back. So now we're going to go into a knee landing because we're so focused for slappers through their lower bodies that we really want to kind of reinforce that. So she's going to go down to a knee when she lands. She's going to come slightly up, which pretty much that's what Ahmari looks like in her regular swing or run-throughs because she's worked so hard on her lower body to get there. All right, contact, push, good, good, rewind, and contact, good, rewind, and contact, good, rewind, and contact, good. All right, so you notice we keep mentioning footwork, okay? Because that is the first key to slapping is footwork, all right? So now what we want to work on now, rewind back, Mark. Want to work on now is our knee down and then coming slightly up. So now look at the focus point of that in her legs. She is really in her legs as she steps through that ball because now she's wanting to make sure that she's going to take her left hip. Don't move your hands, just go left hip punch. Left hip punch, yes. And she pushes off with that torque. And her front side shoulder is pretty much going to be 5-6 to wherever she's going to locate to. All right, so now we're going to go 5-6-2. And I'll show you the footwork for that, which is the same. It's just a bad angle, all right? Here we go. So we're going to go 5-6-2, land, middle ball. Go. Good. She's ready to square up. So that barrel angle is either going to take her to the shortstop side of second base or to the middle of the field, all right? So when we hit the ball in the middle of the field, we're pushing our slappers to make sure they hit it down because we're really just trying to push that ball through the infield, all right? When we go power slap movements, we're looking to power slap, rewind out, we're looking to power slap in the gaps, whether it be left or right gap, depending on the pitch and depending on what slapper feels most comfortable, because all slappers are different, believe that or not. They all have strengths and they all have things they don't use or they do use a lot more of. What we don't want to do is we don't want to become one-dimensional. Don't want you to be just a drag specialist and all you do is put it down, you get on once a game if you're lucky. We want to make sure that you're reading the defense, all right? So Ahmari and all the other slappers that are in this organization understand reading defenses. So everybody that's on that monitor right there, for the most part, has talked about reading defenses. And what's our first read, Ahmari? 5, 6 hole corners, and then we're gonna read middle, and then our outfield placement. So it goes corners, middle infield, outfield, all right, and what their placement, because right now, 10 years ago, we didn't have, when Brittany was coming through, when she was younger, we didn't have defenses move around on us. We just had a straight up defense, and it was easier, per se. Now you got defenses that are sliding over and not even, in making it more difficult for slappers to place the ball. So now barrel control is more important than anything else. So all the Zoom lessons and all the lessons that we do in here, what I found to be consistent is slappers want more barrel control. You guys understand that? Barrel control. It's huge. So what we use more of than anything else is the fact that we're going to use the cone system so that you can make sure that your footwork is being where it's supposed to be, your timing's going to be just working, and then obviously the barrel angles. All right? So let's go from questions. Any questions from that point? Anything, guys? Got a quiet group here. I'm pretty late. Yep, we got it. Nothing? Good. Tay, you ain't got anything to say, huh? Ryan, how's it going, kid? You picking up anything off of this? Yeah. Okay. All right, so what we're working on now, any questions from here on, like the footwork, the cone placement. Now you got to remember, we use this cone placement for all our slappers to give them a general idea of what their footwork should look like, because if you get that footwork down to a science, then you're going to get better at what you're doing, okay? What else? Anything else about it? Nothing, huh? Man, you guys are quiet. All right. So anyway, that's pretty much the ABCs of slapping. Got any other questions about what we're working on here? I know Ryan's the only one probably that's never been in this program or hadn't seen it or hadn't worked with us. So kind of figured out what you might be looking for. So let's put Ryan on the spot. Ready, Ryan? All right. So tell me what in your slapping experiences right now. What is it that you need to be working on just based off the basic drills that we've shown you here?
My footwork.
Footwork. There you go.
Legs more.
Yeah. So you see yourself running through the ball, kind of standing up, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, good. You picked up on the flex and then the knee drill through the step through, and you can do a couple of variations with that footwork to where we can go knee drill and then come up and step through, knee drill down, good, and then step through down and then come slightly up and then push off of it. And then we can also do this, watch this game. To incorporate more of our lower body, we can start with a bucket there, flex down to it, just barely touch it. And then she's gonna come slightly off of that, and then she's gonna run through the ball, run through a slap movement. Good. See her lower body? We're over exaggerating that lower body because most slappers that walk into this facility already have eye-hand coordination. You just need to learn the footwork, the timing, and the bat angles. And when you get those three things down to a science, all this other stuff is going to come into play for you, because then you're going to be on time because your footwork's good, and you're going to understand bat angles. Have you guys ever thought about the angles of the bat? Going through the runs, like your 5, 6 hole, do you guys work on that on a consistent basis? I know 3 of you do, for sure. No?
Well, yeah, we try to.
Yeah.
But if you want to maybe recap that, I mean, we set the tee up and we have cones that we just try to hit towards the cone to see if we're.
Yeah.
Then if we're able to hit in that area of the cone, then we're getting decent bat angle. But if there's anything else, that would be great.
Yeah, well, that's the basics of it, is the angles of those cones we use. Once you get those down to where you can place that ball in those 3 areas, then we could probably get into a little more advanced conversations about when to, when not to, what to look for. Our biggest reads, and it goes like we said earlier, is our biggest reads are corner reads, and then middle infield. Your shortstop, it's a one. We want it to be a one-on-one with a shortstop now, because now she's moving around. Used to, she'd just stand in the hole. and play it. But now, differently now, shortstops are moving around on us, but also outfielders are moving around. So we just, you know, once you get the ABCs of slapping down, then the next level of that would be, we start introducing you to how to read defenses. And a lot of the girls that are online now are slappers that have been in this program, or are in this program, and have been in this program, and won't need to re-identify that, but every so often, just a reminder. Because a lot of times what we do is we take a step back and go back through the ABCs, don't we, Mari? I mean, and even with the other girls, I mean, we sometimes when I just see some footwork that's not good, because I get a lot of video from our slappers. It's a communication. This is a big old family is what I call it, because I mean I get so much video all the time of what the kids are doing. So that's pretty much what it is. But anyway, that's where we're at as far as that. Anything else? Anything else we can go over? We got about 5 minutes, gang. Nothing, huh? Man, I must have done a really good job. Yeah. All right. Well, listen. I got about 2 minutes to answer any questions you guys may have. Let me know what if there's anything that and you can text it to me or call me in the next couple of days, just to try to figure, you know, if there's something you want more information about. Ryan, I know you're new to the group, so let me know if there's anything we can help you with at any time. Okay, kid? All right. Megan, good seeing you again. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Greg, good seeing you. Taylor, good seeing you, babe. See you soon. Brittany, see you soon, babe.
Okay, see you soon.
Bye. Jaden, see you, babe.
Thanks.
Bye.
See you guys.